Staying with our theme for the night, more on security now in the country, especially in Benue State. We're now being joined on the news at 10 by security risk and intelligence expert and managing director of the Beacon Consulting Limited, Kabiru Adamu. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Kabiru, thank you for joining us on the news at 10.
It's my pleasure, Amarachi. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm sure you've had your eyes and your ears on the ground to the happenings in Benue State. What's your reaction to what's been going on, especially the killing of soldiers and then reports of bombardments by the military?
Well, the reality is that we have a situation where non-state actors are challenging the supremacy of the use of coercive force by the state. And in this instance, they are attacking and have killed the highest ranked instrument of that coercive force in the state, which is the military. And so that worries me because all sovereign states should be able to exercise the powers of that sovereign authority through several levels. And where you have that highest level attacked and killed, in several parts of the country across the period, it makes me very, very worried. That's one. Two, it also tells me that if the military and the state as a whole does not come out to draw a line and ensure that the perpetrators of these acts are punished in a very transparent manner, then we're likely to see a repetition of that across other parts of the country, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we're already seeing, copycat attacks on police formations across the country already. It appears the security operatives and the formations are major targets for the bandits now and some other restive groups. What, apart from what you've already said, what else would you suggest as, a solution to help stop this trend? Because as these attacks go on, insecurity is rising.
Exactly, and at the root of all of this are two major issues. One of them is the perception of marginalization and real marginalization. Now, in the case of Benue State, we know it was an inter-community violence between two residents of two local governments. And it appears the state government has attempted to, mediate between these two communities. And unfortunately, it also appears that one side of that, those communities were not very happy with what the state government was doing. So this may have triggered, the incident. Now, the second thing, which is absolutely also important in this regard, is the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Wherever these non-state actors are able to challenge the state, then they are using arms, and in some instances, military-grade weapons. Now, the saddest part of this is that the proliferation of small arms and light weapons is well documented in Nigeria over a period of the last probably 20 years. And unfortunately, we haven't seen enough effort by the different levels of government to address this huge challenge. And so we're seeing an increase in the level of insecurity across the country. Documents available to me suggest that there could be between 6 million to 35 million small arms and light weapons in the hands of non-state actors. And so wherever you have this type of inter-community violence, militias emerge armed with, these small arms and light weapons, and then who try to project the interest of the community. Sometimes these militias are armed by members of that community so that they can exact whatever pound of flesh from the other side. So the one way forward, we need to address this issue of small arms and light weapons. The second thing is the state needs to establish its authority. Now, I'm not suggesting that we deploy the military which is what we've been doing over the years. I'm suggesting that we establish social order. And that would come, there are 27 ministries, departments, and agencies that are involved in security across the country. So we need to ensure that all of these 27 are playing their role. A lot of discussion have been held regarding introducing traditional rulers into the security architecture. I think it's time to do that. They understand these dynamics. They're able to support, especially the civil security departments, better as against rolling out the military in the manner that we've rolled them out recently.
Yeah, and I think that, this worrying trend, is spreading across the country, so we have already established. But the police is, the closest security operative to communities, to the people. And right now, it appears not just, morale that is down, but, they're actually like, defenseless, I think, in the face of these attacks. So the intelligence is out there, but at the end of the day, is it really being used? Is it really being applied, to the situation?
So I mean, after the incidents in Imo State, specifically the attack on the Correctional Service Center in Owerri, it emerged that perhaps the DSS may have sent out a report to several security agencies suggesting that there is an impending attack. Now, if that is confirmed, it means the Correctional Service and other, including the police, failed to react to intelligence to protect themselves. And so that raises the question, what value do these agencies place on the intelligence that is provided for them? Now, time would not allow me to go into the intelligence cycle from, when agencies are tasked to the collection as well as the dissemination of intelligence. Unfortunately, that's the key. How do we tap into this cycle? What advantages do these 27 ministries and departments and agencies that I mentioned take out of this actionable intelligence whenever it's provided for them? And I think that's the way to go. The second point is I'm not hearing the language of concentric cycles of security within the Nigerian security infrastructure. When you place the concentric cycle of security, it means even if the first cycle is breached, then before the enemy or whoever is the perpetrator reaches the second concentric cycle, you are able to detect him and then to arrest him as the case may be. Unfortunately, because we don't have these concentric levels of security, and the reason we don't have it is because there is no coordination, in terms of operations between these 27 ministries, departments, and agencies. So you have one agency, sort of, in this case, the police that we're discussing, attempting to protect its own assets and infrastructure. But where you have these concentric cycles, you would have a coordinated effort by the 27 departments, and I think among them they should have enough personnel to deploy and possibly enough equipment to use in terms of deterring the perpetrator of whatever attack that it is. So again, the police should not see itself as a single element within the security architecture. Yes, they are challenged. Yes, they've been attacked during the EndSARS protest. They are currently being attacked. But if they work together as part of the other 27 ministries and departments in security, then they will be able to defend themselves better.
Kabiru, I believe that some of these conversations should be had with security operatives themselves. But thanks again, for just scratching the surface, as we go deeper in the coming days. Thank you again for joining us on the News at 10.
My pleasure, Amarachi. Stay safe.